Hello, and welcome back to 10 out of 10 Would Watch Again with Lauren and Ross.
Hello.
How have yous been with your mischies? We'll have a wee catch up before we start the episode. I know we said we would be on a short break, and it's ended up being a wee bit longer than what we intended. So we've kind of came back like, hey, how's it going? We took a wee bit of a break because honestly, we were just getting a wee bit lost in the sauce, and we were getting really busy in life, and we were like finding it hard to kind of fit in weekly podcasts as well as like cutting about actual functioning. Do you know what I mean?
Is it sometimes it just felt like we were doing it for the sake of doing it,
Absolutely.
whereas we were kind of losing the enjoyment of doing it, which made it fun in the first place for us.
Exactly. And I do think as well we were suffering from like severe Oscar burnout. Do you know what I mean? Because we'd had to cram in so many movies over such a short period of time. It was like, I don't want to watch anything. And then we were like listening to the episodes we put out afterwards, and we were like, God, you can just pure tell our heart's not in this.
Yeah.
I don't know if yous could tell, but we could tell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we got too successful too quickly.
Oh, aye. The legions of fans and the paparazzi chasing us about.
Oh, you better believe it.
So, obviously, we're now back. We've come up with like loads of cool new ideas. We've got some changes to the categories, and we've came back ready to hit the ground running. We've got loads of like really cool ideas upcoming. Like we've got stuff that's going to be relating to movies that are coming out and stuff like that. Just trust and believe we're back, and just go with us on it, you know?
Yeah, we'll probably try to add stuff in the next couple of weeks, so just let us know through Instagram and wherever you listen to us how you feel about it.
Aye, what's working and what isn't.
Yeah.
For the next wee while, we're going to upload every 2 weeks instead of weekly, just to make sure that we're putting out content that we are happy with and proud of, and get ourselves back into the swing of it. Hopefully, we'll be able to get back into the routine of being able to put it out weekly, but for the next wee while, every second Wednesday, you will hear our beautiful dulcet tones.
Yeah.
Right, that's plenty of us rambling on about why we were away and why we're back. It's not a YouTube apology video, do you know what I mean? So this week, when we put stuff on Instagram, we asked you what you wanted to see more of, and basically it was 50-50 between more horror and more comedy, so we've mashed it up for you, and on our comeback episode, we've got 2010's Tucker and Dale versus Evil. Ross, as we are push.
Right, so it was released in January 2010, directed by Eli Craig, starring Tyler Labine, Alan Tudyk, Katrina Bowden, and Jesse Moss. They had a budget of $5 million, a box office of only $5.5 million, and a runtime of 89 minutes.
Perfect. We need more of that in our lives.
Yeah, love a short movie here.
love a short king.
Oh, fuck I.
General overview of the movie, just moral of the story, don't judge a hillbilly by their checkered shirt.
Aye, pretty much. I'll go with that.
So we'll dive into thoughts and opinions. Before we even get into the movie, I just want to give you a quick backstory of why this movie was like semi-successful, and it's more of like a cult classic than anything else. So basically, the director of it had also helped to write horror movies, and him and his pal were like, what will we do next? And they started coming up with sequences of like misunderstandings, and this movie was originally supposed to be just a straight horror, and then they basically got pished one night and were like, wouldn't it be funny if? And that's how it evolved into this horror comedy. And basically it went through all of the like film festivals and all this kind of stuff, like won all these awards at like South by Southwest. It's pronounced like Sidus or something, but it's just like loads of letters. Basically won like every award it could win at all these film festivals, won like fan favourites and all that. And then it kind of died because they couldn't find anybody to
distribute it.
Thank you. Basically what you said. And but while they were trying to find somebody to distribute it, there was like an unfinished copy was leaked online that had like the Batman score and had like all these like wonky mistakes on it, and it became this like internet fan favorite movie because everyone was like, this is pure shite but great. And like all the credits were wrong. It had like the wrong people in the wrong bits, and like every tense bit had like the Dark Knight theme tunes and all this in it. And then by the time it was finally distributed and people went to see the edited actual version that was supposed to be seen, they were all like, oh, okay. But by that point, it had become like an internet cult classic. So it basically like was full for most of its opening weeks. And it's kind of become one of those like cult at home DVD ones.
So do you think that this done the same thing that Ryan Reynolds done for Deadpool? Oh no, this got leaked.
Yeah, this is like the original one, isn't it?
Yeah.
This is like the original. I would love to see the leaked unedited version just to see how the Dark Knight music like works in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I wonder who. Obviously, there must have been an editor that's put a rough copy together.
Mm.
But why the fuck the Dark Knight music? It makes no sense within this film.
I know. I think as well, like, so that's just a bit of kind of backstory about the film. If you didn't know, if you did know, and I've got stuff wrong, let me know. I also think as well, like, horror comedies are such like a hit and a miss. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's never just that, oh, it was all right. You either loved it or you were like, that is the worst hour and a half I've ever spent.
There's too many of them that is very, like, you have like the scary movie ones that are on the nose.
Aye, that's like parody, but
yeah. But then you have kind of smarter ones where it's like, where they subvert the tropes and whatever. A bit like Cabin in the Woods, where that's more of a, like more of an intelligent one if you're with me.
No, I get what you mean. I think like if it's done right, you get movies like Shaun of the Dead. I would even count like the later Evil Dead movies.
Yeah, I think Evil Dead's always played on like the campiness of them.
Yes.
But Shaun of the Dead, yeah, I would agree with Shaun of the Dead is very simple. Like Tucker and Dale Visual has a very British type of humour in it.
Yeah, it's dead dry, like really dry humour mixed in with like great gore. Do you know what I mean?
It's like this movie basically plays on a whole load of misunderstandings.
Yeah.
It's like this is Misunderstandings, the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
Is it how fucked up can you get by not speaking to somebody? And it turns into this absolute fucking farce where they think it's suicide cults and fucking you name it.
Totally. I love as well that this movie, like the start of this movie is very like early 2000s, mid 2000s horror. Do you know what I mean? Like the start of the movie is basically the start of House of Wax. Do you know what I mean? Where they're like in the car. I mean, really any 2000s movie, like Wrong Turn, House of Wax, all that kind of vibe where it's like college kids are en route to like a lake to sit at a campsite and get pissed and smoke grass and pump and like, you know what I mean? The usual stuff.
Oh yeah, the movie starts with like following the so-called rules of horror.
Yes.
Like if you smoke weed and that, you're going to die.
Yep.
Like the virgin lives in that. It starts you off with the basis that this is what's going to happen.
Every like blonde lassie is like overly screechy and like jumps at a fly. Every boy in it is like just comes off as if they like snort protein powder with their breakfast and that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they're like, it's funny because it shows you them as all jocks and up, but they're all like wee scrawny dudes.
Yeah.
And is it yous have just got actors that probably do it cheap, and fair enough. Like that's what you need for a movie like this.
Yeah.
But it's such a bizarre movie.
Totally.
And this is a movie that, given what's happened, shouldn't work, but it just does.
No, totally. And like you were saying earlier on, like you do come in with the preconceptions of horror movies. So like the college kids are driving in their car with like the music turned up and they're all having a whaley of time and you're already like, these guys are a pain in the arse. And then Tucker and Dale drive up beside them and they're like beat up, rusted old truck, like looking like proper creepy hillbillies. So at the start of the movie, you're like, fuck, this is some like House Have Eyes, Wrong Turn, except they're not inbred, like battered, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like it starts off like every other horror. It's just amazing how it
flips.
Yeah.
Cabin
in the Woods kind of tells you from the beginning that this is what's happening.
Yep.
Whereas this does, it just seems like there's one moment and it's like, all right, I know what I'm in for now.
Yeah, I totally get you. It's like when both the cars drive to the gas station and the college kids are like, we need more beer and all this kind of thing. And you see Tucker and Dale just kind of looking over menacingly. And then it cuts to Tucker and Dale and like Dale's holding a scythe, but they're having like the most laid back, chill conversation. Like they're just looking forward to going to their holiday home. Do you know what I mean? And Dale clocks one of the college lassies and Tucker's like, you are a good-looking, funny, intelligent man. You go over there and you speak to her, and she would be lucky to have you. And it's really funny. Like within about 10 minutes, you're like, oh, these guys are lovely. Like,
Yes, what is it? I go over and speak to him, but always make sure you're smiling.
yeah.
And he's carrying a big fuck off scythe.
And he goes over with like the creepiest smile on this side, and she's like, "Do you need any help?" And he gets really nervous, and he's like, like, and just comes off exactly like you would think it is. Do you know what I mean?
Big Chad comes over. You better fuck off, dude.
Yeah, big creepy Chad, man.
Oh fuck, Chad.
I do love that though, like the contrast of everything. Like, this is two movies in one. There's the hillbilly horror, and then there's the comedy. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like for the fact that they've managed to put all of this stuff into an hour and a half movie,
Yeah,
it's really impressive.
totally.
Like you're fitting like the two POVs together, and that's
Seamlessly, I would
yeah,
say.
like it's very well done.
Yeah. So, as we were saying, like, Tucker and Dale are heading up to their holiday home. The college kids are going to the lake, which is near their holiday home. But when Tucker and Dale go in, it is very obvious, like, this cabin that they've bought is your stereotypical cabin in the woods. And they walk in, and it's like a serial killer's dream. Do you know what I mean? There's like bones hanging from the ceiling, jars of teeth everywhere. There's boards of like all these cutouts of like massacres and like teens going missing, but they're just so happy to have a holiday home. They're walking about and they're like, oh, this can be cleaned up, no bother, don't worry about it. Oh, look at all the board games and stuff. Like, not even clocking everything else that's like really ominous about this gaff.
Like they go through the newspaper clippings, and the only thing they can decipher for it is that, oh fuck, if you buy 2 chili dogs, you get a third one free.
Yeah.
And they went, you need that around here? All right, cool.
In between all these like 10 college kids murdered, you know, this kind of stuff. So like while they're tidying up their holiday home / serial killer's haven, we cut to the college kids who are around the campfire, and Chad, who is like the arsehole of the college kids. I mean, there's always one. Chad is retelling the story of the Memorial Day massacre, which happened in the 80s, where a bunch of college kids, funnily enough, were massacred by a guy. And funnily enough, there was one survivor, so pin that, and we'll come back to that later, gentle viewer. Also, like, Chad, who's like the main guy of the college guys, he's supposed to be like that kind of alpha leader, blah, blah, blah. And this is also where you start to see that the college kids aren't the kind of innocent victims that you think they're going to be. Like, Chad gets really creepy with Allison, like, immediately. Do you know what I mean? Like, when they're standing at the car and he's like, oh, come on, come on. She's like, no, leave me alone. And he's like, shut up, you pure love me, you know, this, like, he gets, like, really creepy really quickly, and you're like, oh, okay.
Oh, he gives off weird vibes straight off the bat.
Yeah, and he's, like, too into telling the story, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, they play him off as, right, you're going to be the dodgy one.
Aye.
Straight for the get-go. And that's what I like with it. They don't try and hide it. I think they knew they didn't have enough time.
No.
So there's like, right, everybody's going to know the story of this, like, straight away.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that night, Tucker and Dale are in their boat, they're drinking beers, they're fishing, and obviously they're fishing on the lake where the college kids are. So the college kids are swimming about. One of the girls, Allison, goes to jump in but slips and smacks her head off of the rocks. And this is where the misunderstandings really kick in, because they're in the boat like, hey, we got your friend. And they're all like, oh my God, they've kidnapped Allison. They're going to fucking murder Allison. Meanwhile, they're like bandaging her up and like taking her back to the gaff and like trying to look after her and all that. Then Allison wakes up in the cabin with Dale bringing her like pancakes and eggs and bacon, and there's like flowers on the breakfast tray. And she's like, oh my God, like, and she starts to have a conversation with Dale and is like, oh, we thought yous were like these kind of creepy weirdo guys. And he's like, nah, man, this is our holiday poem. Like, we're going to clean it up and stuff. So she's like, ah, right, cool. Well, thanks for saving my life and stuff. They even start playing board games and that. It's like really wholesome. Like,
yeah, it's funny because you see it from Tucker and Dale's like perspective, and they're like, oh, we're just two guys, but they also don't help themselves.
Yeah.
Because she's like, oh, I'll go get my pals and that. And he's like, no, you don't have to get your pals. Like, they'll come and find you and that, and you can still see it in her. She's like, wait, hold on a minute.
Aye.
I'm still not certain. But it's so smartly done.
Yeah.
There's nothing too obvious that Tucker and Dale do.
No, like you can see from their point of view, they're trying to be like really nice and really helpful and being like, oh,
Yeah.
don't worry about it. And like, they're like later on in the film, which I mean, I say later on, I'll get to it in about 5 minutes, right? They're like, oh, we'll just leave a note for your friends. And they write, we have your friend misspelt, carved into like a tree.
Yeah,
and
we
like,
have friend.
yeah, and it's like, obviously this would be really intimidating and ominous to anybody else, but to Tucker and Dale, they're like, cool, well, we've told our pals that she's here and we're just going to make sure she gets better and all this kind of
That's
stuff.
just a totally normal thing to do.
Yeah. So obviously the college kids come to the cabin and they're like, oh my God, they're holding her captive in there. She's fucked. So while the college, and by the way, we know the college kids have names, but Tucker and Dale refer to them as college kids. So while the college kids are like freaking out of like, oh my God, they've got Allison captive. Like, we're going to need to jump in there and save her. Tucker is out the back with his chainsaw, cutting up wood, because obviously it's a chainsaw. And as he's cutting up wood, he drives it through a bee's nest or a wasp's nest.
Yeah.
And like, obviously they go nuts. So while the college kids are coming up to the cabin, Tucker runs from the back with like this chainsaw swinging and they're all freaking out. And they all start running. And one of the college kids like runs in the same direction as Tucker. And Tucker's like looking over really confused of like, why the fuck are you running? And as Tucker's running, the college kid like impales himself on a tree. And then Tucker keeps going. He doesn't see that this has happened. And then the college kid sees like a bee and he's like, oh, and then he dies. So it's like, oh, it's so stupid, done.
Like, that's the first kind of shock of the movie.
Yeah.
Because this movie, it deals with a lot of stuff, but then see when it hits the gore, like, my God, that is fucking brutal.
Honestly, yeah, this kid is like, and when I say impaled, there's like guts and intestines lying about everywhere, man.
It's like this movie does it well that it's like a more comedic like gore, whereas with a lot of horrors and all that, and even some comedies which I've seen a rise in, is that they make it like unpleasant to see all the gore.
Yeah. I totally get what you mean.
They have to make it like really brutal, and is it what's the point?
Yeah, relax.
Yeah, like it doesn't need to be as realistic as you think it does. It's just a movie, guys.
Yeah. So misunderstanding number 2 comes when Tucker comes back all like stung to shit by the bees and stuff, and him and Dale are standing outside and he's like, we need to give her back to the college kids. And they're talking about how Dale keeps beating her in like Trivial Pursuit, but the way they're wording it is like, I beat the shit out of her, and when we go back, I'm gonna finish her off real good. Yeah. And all the college kids are like, oh my God, they're torturing Allison. Oh my God, they're gonna kill Allison. And all this kind of vibe. And this is the point where Dale carves, we have your friend, into the tree. And the college kids are like, oh my God, they're never going to give her back. Oh my God, right, we need to go up there. And then this is probably the most famous scene of the movie. Like, if you ask someone about Tucker and Dale, this is the scene they're going to bring up. Tucker's putting all the wood that he's chopped up into the wood chipper, right? And one of these college kids comes running to get him, but Tucker moves and the kid like throws himself into the wood chipper, and like Tucker's trying to drag him out of the wood chipper and just brings out like a set of legs, and like everyone's freaking out. One of them tries to like get Dale, but trips and slips and impales himself on like the stick that he was going to stab Dale with.
Yeah, it's like that slapstick comedy bit because he's digging an outhouse like for the cabin, and
they think she's digging her own grave.
Yeah. So he helps her out, like I think it's like good job or something. He says he sees this kid running with a spear, so he turns around with a shovel, fucks her in the back of the head accidentally, as this wee kid trips, and like he basically gores himself with this spear. It's so slapstick and it's so stupid, but this is one of the funniest scenes in like horror.
100%, and it's the way the two of them are like freaking out, like all these like kids are dying around them, and like. When the kid impales himself, Dale's like, oh my God, and Tucker's freaking out. And they come to the conclusion that these college kids are here on like a suicide pact, and they start like running about the cabin trying to hide all the like sharp objects and all that.
Hide anything with a point or something, it says, isn't it?
It's so daft. Like, they're proper freaking out, like they're like that to Allison, like, do your pals take medication? Like, I think they've stopped taking it and they're trying to end themselves. And it's so funny. But then you go back to the college kids' point, and Chad is like, they're wiping us out one by one. Like, oh my God, what are we going to do? And it is so funny. Like, all the like cut to scenes of like from the college kids' perspective, and they're seeing like Tucker with our pal's legs in the wood chipper. And we know they're trying to Tucker's trying to pull the college kid out. But they're like, oh my God, he's jamming him in and all this kind of thing. So one of the friends went away to get the police. And when they bring the police back, the way Tucker and Dale try and explain that they're not doing anything dodgy, it's actually the college kids, makes Tucker and Dale sound 40 times more dodgy.
Yeah.
Like, it's the way they say it. Like, it sounds obviously like they've murdered all these kids. They're like, oh, and he fell over here and they did this, and the police is like, right, no bother, calm down. So they bring the police officer into the house to show them, like, look, Alison's here, she's safe, we brought her back because she hurt herself, and then all of our pals have started killing themselves around us and we don't understand why. So the police officer's like, all right, cool, right, no bother, I'll go and tell them that Alison's fine. But as he's leaving, he leans on the broken beam, and the beam snaps and drives the head of the beam with all the nails in his head. And Tucker and Dale are like, oh my God. But obviously, like, the police officer goes to go back to his car, and all the college kids are seeing is this police with a head full of nails, and Tucker and Dale in the background, and they're like, he's fucking got the police, I know.
Yeah, so this beam, like, it's kind of been a running thing in the movie up to this point, where as soon as they go into the house, that the shack, I should call it, that they just bought, like, Tucker just leans on it, and like Dale saves him. Then it's when she's leaning back on the chair when they're playing the board game, and he's like, no, don't lean on that. So you were kind of waiting for, like, I think you kind of knew there was always going to be a death involved in that.
Yeah.
I do feel though that the sheriff's deaths are kind of played out a wee bit. It's just another reason just to continue the story. Like, it doesn't really feel like a lot of, like, it doesn't feel as quite creative as the other ones.
Yeah, the next 5 minutes of this movie, this is probably the messiest bit of the film, but again, it's a messy 5 minutes, you can get over it. But it does kind of feel like this is how they're trying to wipe out as many people as possible in like a short amount of time. So like, obviously the police comes out with his head full of nails. One of the kids pulls out the gun and doesn't pull the safety off properly and shoots himself in the face when he's trying to fix the gun. So it's only really like Chad, 2 lassies and 1 more boy left. It's like a weak 5 minutes in an altogether like sound movie. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, 100% agree with that.
So Chad then grabs Dale's dog and threatens to murder the dog, to which Tucker and Dale are like, who are these evil bastards? And Dale starts shooting like nail guns at them and says, if you kill my dog, I swear I'm going to get really mad. And I feel like that is the most valid reaction in this whole film.
Yeah, that's the only one you care about, the only death you would care about in this.
100%. So Tucker starts running to distract the college kids from Dale, and the college kids chase him and they capture him and they hang him upside down from a tree, and Chad begins to like threaten to torture him, but Tucker's like, I've got beers, you can have my car, like, you can have the holiday home for all you like. But Chad is like full on in his evil villain like moment. Like, this is the part in the film where he was already like a dickhead, but then you see him like the eyes cloud over and you're like, oh, this is a menacing fucker.
Oh yeah, he turns evil very quickly.
Yeah. He starts torturing Tucker and he cuts off 2 of his fingers, and they put the 2 fingers back in the cabin and are like, we have your friend now, try and come and get him. Meanwhile, Dale's back in the cabin trying to explain to Alison that all our pals have like flipped out and they're like killing themselves and all this kind of thing. And Alison's like, no, there's no way my pals are murderers, there's no way. As they hear the chap at the door and they find Tucker's fingers. So Dale decides, fuck this, and goes after Tucker, and the college kids have set up all these traps, but every trap misses Dale by like a ball hair. Like, like this guy goes through all these traps with like a millimeter in between getting like stabbed and stuff like that. So while Dale's going through all this to try and get Tucker back, 2 of the college kids come to the cabin and they're like this is where evil lives. Oh my God, Allison is ruined. Oh my God. But then they go in and Allison's just sitting there like, hey guys, like, I'll make some tea, this kind of stuff.
Yeah, like, I'm pretty sure she's tidying up or something. She's just tidying the gaff for them.
Aye. So they're like accused, all her pals are accusing her of having like Stockholm syndrome and all that. And she's like, no, honestly, like, yous just have the total wrong end of the stick. Like, they've been looking after me and making sure my head's fine and stuff. But then Chad gets super menacing and starts getting up in her face that like she doesn't love him anymore because she's in love with the hillbillies and stuff. So Tucker and Dale come back to the cabin and Allison's like, guys, it's okay, we can fix this. Meanwhile, Tucker's like 2 fingers down. He's like, what the fuck?
Tucker has a funny habit of, see, whenever he's injured, he just pours beer over it.
Yeah.
Is it his hand, like the stump, like his fingers, pours a beer over it, gets stung by bees, his whole face just covered in beer. Is it that is some like weird redneck shit, isn't it?
Into it. I like, oh, what will fix this? A Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Like what the fuck's that all about?
I know. So Allison sits Dale on one side of the table and Chad on the other side of the table and is like, I'm in uni to be a counsellor and a therapist. Like, let's just talk out our issues. And this is where we find out that Chad's mum is the sole survivor of the Memorial Massacre that he was talking about at the start. And this is why he hates hillbillies, because his mum basically gave birth to him and was like in a mental home for the rest of her life because she was tortured by hillbillies. And Dale was like, we're not hillbillies. What are you talking about? Like, he gets so confused as to why they're being horrible to him.
I was it he says when that happened, I'd have been about 6, so it was the me. He's so sincere about it, as if, oh, I've got something that's going to win him over here. He's totally, as usual in that, he's totally missed the point.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
totally.
class, man. Class.
So, like, the other 2 college kids come running in as, like, backup, but they accidentally push over Tucker, who trips over a grass trimmer, and the grass trimmer goes into one of the college kids' faces, and it's so grim. This then, like, again, it's like trip, fall, face gets melted off by a grass trimmer, trip, fall, a candle falls, and the other lassie tries to use moonshine to put the fire out, which then, funnily enough, explodes the cabin. And like, they're all outside and all these people are dead, and Tucker's like, my cabin, like, so upset.
Yeah, so after all the chaos in the house and they get out the fire, Tucker, Dale, Allison and the dog, he gets his dog out because you're not killing a dog in this.
Yeah, absolutely not. The pets come with.
Yeah, so they see Chad's body and is it, should we go and get him? Then he gets up and he just starts fucking screaming at him, looking scary as hell.
I like a pure Poundland Two-Face. Yeah.
And what I can't remember what one it is that says it, but they're just like, nah, he's alright.
Yeah, fuck him.
Then this is when you start getting into like the finale of the movie, is that they get in the cars that right, we need to go. And they end up crashing the car.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think Tucker and Dale are both, like, they're all knocked unconscious, but when they both come to, they realise that Allison's not there.
Two-Face Chad has like grabbed Allison and taken her elsewhere. Tucker is like impaled like in the shoulder on like a tree. And this is where they have like the pep talk of all pep talks. Do you know what I mean? Like, Tucker's like, you get in there, Dale, you save her and you get the girl. And Dale's like, yeah, you're right, I will. And all this kind of stuff.
It's just some like, was it the weird story about where they used to go and catch frogs?
Yeah.
Like, I never used to let you win, by the way. And he's like, oh my God. It's such a fucking pointless story that we used to go to the creek and catch frogs. That you always caught more than me. Is it? I'm going to fucking do this thing.
So this is where we get to like the finale of the movie. Chad has Allison in a lumber mill, and in true like any movie that has a lumber mill in it, it's like a James Bond style trap where he's got her tied to the wood at a saw, and you know what's going to happen. You know he's going to press start on the saw, and it's basically going to need to wait for Allison to get like sawed in half. Like, Chad's really in his villain era at this point.
This part, he's sort of given, like, he's totally out the range now. Just giving his evil speech, how he's going to cleanse her and all that weird stuff.
Yeah.
The next minute, he runs up the stairs to start the contraption to kill her. Then Dale busts in looking like $1,000,000 with this big fuck off chainsaw, a welder's helmet, and it's like a weird black apron. So he's looking like fucking something out of Texas Chainsaw Massacre. But he comes in all heroic, like, I'm going to save you. He does this big bit, then she turns around and's like, no, he's not here the minute. And he went, oh, that's a shame. Then is it, do I look cool in this? No, she's like, you look stunning, mate.
So then Chad jumps down and we have like the Mortal Kombat of the end of the film. Like while they're fighting and the saw's going and Allison's like, Dale, save me. He throws this axe at the rope and it flies like, do you remember the movie Wanted where the bullets would like curve?
Oh, aye.
He throws it and it goes like that and hits the rope like spot on.
Yeah.
So she manages to like wriggle free and Dale and Allison run up the stairs. And this is where they start looking for weapons to fight off Chad. And they find this box of newspapers from the Memorial Day massacre, which reveals then that Chad is the son of the hillbilly serial killer who like tortured his mum. I'm not going to say how, but we can all put our imaginations onto where that happened.
Yeah, you can figure it out for yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty horrific. So they show this to Chad and Chad's like melting down. He's like, no way am I half hillbilly. That's never happening. And while he's going on a rampage about how he's going to kill everybody, Dale opens up this box of like chamomile tea and you're like, Dale, this is not the time. But he throws the chamomile tea in Chad's face, which then throws Chad into this like anaphylactic shock.
Yeah.
And Allison's looking at Dale like, how the fuck, what? And Dale's like, oh yeah, I just remembered this fact that like chamomile tea can do this if you're allergic to whatever. So, okay, like no problem, big man. And Chad then falls out of the window to his doom, basically. And that's the end of Chad. Pour one out.
Yeah, it's very like reminiscent of like Halloween. So it's like in the first one when he gets shot and he falls out the window, and like you're kind of just expecting him to like let me go and I'm not there, but they do it. Then you just see his body and they're like, ooh.
Also, funny that you say that's like Halloween. Put a pin in that because that's coming back later on.
All right, okay.
So at this point, Chad's away, funnily enough, and we think that Tucker died. But cut to, Tucker's in the hospital bed, good as new. The news is playing in the background, which shows all of the college students dead and all this kind of stuff. And they're basically pinning the whole thing on Chad.
Yeah.
And Tucker's like, oh, look, they found my fingers. I'm fixed. But one of the fingers is like from one of the lassies. So it's got like the pure long red nail. And Dale's like, oh yeah, your hands always look like that, obviously.
Aye, what is it? He says, do you think it matches? I went, oh, aye.
Aye. And then this is where Dale says, Tucker's like, oh, did you ask it out? Did you ask it out? And he's like, yep, we're going bowling. And then Allison and Dale have this lovely wee like bowling date and they live happily ever after.
Aye, that sums up Tucker and Dale versus Evil pretty handily, I would say.
Yeah, basically. Cool, so we'll dive into the rest of the categories. What is your let's go moment?
Mine's is all, like, it's got to be the catching frogs bit.
Oh, is
like,
it?
See, just at that, because it's just the realisation is that, holy shit, I can do stuff here.
Yeah. Because, like, there's a whole thing as well we've not really mentioned, but, like, Dale's, I don't know, like, superpower, like, is that he can remember basically everything he's ever been told.
Yeah, for a guy that's been portrayed as, like, oh, he's a dumb redneck, he's an idiot and all that, like, this dude's, like, super smart. It's just I just don't think he has, like, the common sense, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But, like, as he says it, he remembers every bit of information.
He keeps beating Allison in, like, Trivial Pursuit and all that because he just remembers everything and stuff.
Yeah, he says it himself, yeah, I've got this thing where I just remember everything. It's like, so you're smart as shit then.
Yeah. Mine has got to be when, like, the first college kid dies. Like, see when Tucker comes out with, like, the chainsaw and stuff. Like, that's the let's go.
Oh,
like,
right, okay.
Here we go, we're ready.
Oh, fair enough. I'll give you that one, aye.
What's your favourite scene?
Oh, I mean, it's got to be the wood chipper, isn't it?
I've put the wood chipper as well. It's just so funny, man. Like, the wood chipper into them thinking that the college kids are in a suicide pact. Fucking hilarious.
Yeah, like, that whole section where it's just, as I mentioned before, is that he hits Allison with a shovel by accident by spinning around. It's like something out of, remember Chuckle Vision?
Yes!
It's a pure Chuckle Vision, like something out of the Three Stooges you would see.
Yeah.
And like that whole bit, it's just done like perfect. Like it happens like really quickly, and it's amazing.
Yeah, so funny. Right, I'll dive into some useless information. So, the opening scene of the cars driving through the Appalachian Mountains is actually taken from the start of that Without a Paddle movie. Now, remember that really bad
Oh
Seth
yeah,
Green
yeah,
one? So that's that, which is funny. I always think it's funny when movies do that. Like, know how like the start of The Shining is the end of the original Blade Runner
yeah.
and stuff like that. Like, they just take scenes from movies and it's like, cool, we can watch that. Like,
I wonder what the reason is for it.
probably just saving money into it or like can't get to the location or
I
something.
suppose if you just need like an exposition shot into it, it's
Yeah.
just like why spend all the money? Because this is a low budget film, so I might as well.
Yeah. If you ever owned the DVD, there was a 20-minute special feature that showed you the whole movie from the college kid's perspective, and it's like a gritty slasher.
I know I can. Oh god, I'll need to try and find it. That'd be cool.
100%. There are only 2 CGI moments in the whole film. The bees
Yeah,
and when the girl gets her face shredded by the strimmer. Everything else is practical effects and camera tricks.
that's cool.
Yeah, because this movie looks great. Like,
Oh yeah, like it's as I've said, for it being comedic violence and all that, like it's elements of realism in it,
yeah.
which I think you lose with CGI. But no, that's good on them.
Yeah. Dale has Giver on his hat. This is a double entendre as Giver alludes to his caring personality and
Yeah.
being a lovely all-round guy. But also Giver is the Canadian equivalent to the redneck phrase get her done. Get her done. So they've mashed those two up together. Jesse Moss, who plays Chad, and Shaylin Simmons,
Feeling nice.
Shaylin, they both went on to appear in Final Destination 3. Jesse Moss is the boyfriend who dies in the roller coaster at the very start, and Shaylin is the blonde who gets fried in the sunbeds and traumatized a whole generation against using sunbeds.
I suppose these type of actors, that's all they're gonna appear in is horror
Yeah.
movies. Like I'm not saying they're bad, but it's not like you're not gonna get anywhere anything else. I would think.
No, I agree. When Dale walks over to the teenager's car in the beginning, the sound crew can be seen in the reflection of the window.
Fair enough. Aye.
This is the bit where I said, pause the Halloween moment.
Aye.
There are multiple homages throughout this movie to other horror classics. The director said the concept of this movie was inspired by Deliverance, which he said is the scariest movie of all time.
All right.
Tucker running with the chainsaw is obviously a homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
Dale suiting up to fight Chad is homage to Evil Dead 2.
Yeah.
The kids around the campfire is homage to Friday the 13th. The shot of Chad lying dead is a homage to Halloween. Dale, this one I was like, okay, if you want. Dale cooking for Allison is apparently a homage to Cabin Fever. When the hillbillies do it, I was like, I ain't bother. And funnily enough, Chad's final look after his face gets burnt up is homage to Two-Face in Batman. Not a horror, but still a really cool homage.
Yeah, no, aye.
It was confirmed in 2017 that there would be a sequel. Everyone was on board to do it, but it's just never came to fruition. I was trying to look up why, because obviously it's been a while since 2017, do you know what I mean? But there's not really been any reason. They've just all kind of went on to do different projects and stuff.
It's not even that. What would you do? I think you would lose what the first one was about because you can't just do the same thing again.
Yeah, I agree.
You'd either need to go total straight with the horror or total straight with the comedy.
Yeah.
And it go either way with one of them. I don't think it would work.
And I think if they did a sequel and fucked it up, I feel like it would just ruin it. Like, this movie's just one of those daft ones, do you know what I mean? Like, and that's not to undermine it. Like, this movie's class, but it doesn't take itself any more seriously than it needs to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, this movie sits better as a one and done.
Exactly.
In my opinion, anyway.
Exactly. We'll move on to A. Spoiler alert, I don't have any Is.
There they are.
All right.
Okay, all the issues in this movie is kind of tied into the plot and that, but it's not really A's about it.
Yeah, and I feel like as well, this movie's too fast to have A's. And also, if there was any A's, I feel like they would just be cleared up under like the misunderstanding trope. Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they were quite clever in doing it that way. Is that, oh, why did this happen? Is that, well, they didn't know what was going on, like either side. So I know it worked for it, but nah, I don't have any A's on it either.
Do you have best kill, worst kill?
I mean, best kill's got to be wood chipper. Isn't it?
Yeah, I've put wood chipper
It's
too.
the most memorable, iconic part of this film.
Yep.
And my worst kill's the sheriff's death.
Oh, okay.
Purely just because it was just a way to wipe out the one person that could sort this, like story wise.
Yeah.
You'd probably be better off not having the sheriff back in it, but as I say, it's 5 minutes of the movie. It's not that bad.
Yeah. My worst kill is the kid that runs into the tree running away from the bees.
Oh, you think so?
Like, that's just stupid. Like, I mean, I know. I suppose, though, at least he just wasn't. He's too busy looking at Tucker, thinking Tucker's going to kill him and gets impaled. I was between that or the kid that sticks himself with the stake pull thing.
Yeah. The speedy mate.
Yeah. I was between those two, but I'll stick with the one with the bee, because then when he sees the bee, he's like, oh, and kind of has, you see in his face, the realization of like, oh, right.
I love that one just for how unexpected. Like,
yeah.
If you haven't seen that movie before the first time watching it, like that would have just came out the total blue.
Yeah. This movie's kind of like the comedy version of like Dusk Till Dawn, if you get what I mean, where like the first 45 minutes of Dusk Till Dawn's like a heist movie and then it goes into a vampire movie.
Yeah, 100%.
This is like, you're expecting it to be this creepy horror and it's not. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, I get it. Oh, 100%, I agree with you.
Who's your worst guy whose hairline's receding?
Chad, isn't it?
Yeah, I've got Chad too. He's a
like,
prick.
He's kind of like, overly aggressive and all that, and Chad's an asshole.
Yeah, Chad's a prick.
Like, he's kind of got every stereotype of bad people and frat, like, and jocks and that, and horrors in one.
Yeah. I don't have anyone who's in a different movie. I think everyone in this film really works.
Yeah, again, I've got Chad, because I feel like you could put him in an 80s horror.
Yes.
Like, say, like a camp setting and that.
Yeah, like a Friday the 13th kind of vibe.
And he would fit in that, whereas you wouldn't be able to do it with anybody else in this.
Ah, okay.
But that's the only reason I would say different movies, that his character and all the stereotypes fit better for other movies.
It could work in a Friday the 13th setting or in like an early 2000s college film, you know, where like they realise they need to stop drinking and team up with the nerds to pass college, you know. Yeah,
the only difference is in this, the character's played for laughs rather than playing it for terror and horrors.
Yeah. I also don't have an I'm out, because this movie's just, you're with it and then it's done. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, the 5 minute lull. Other than that, no, nothing about this I'm not looking forward to.
Yeah, totally. So that was our comeback episode of Tucker and Dale versus Evil. We have introduced a new category for the end of every episode. It's called 0 out of 10 won't watch again. And we're basically just going to bring up anything shit that we've watched that week, whether it's a TV show or a movie or anything like that. So I don't know if we will have the same 0 out of 10 would watch again. Guys, I'm disappointed, man. I'm putting down Jason Statham's Working Man.
That's what I've got as well.
Oh my God. We were so looking forward to this. And in like previous episodes, we have brought it up. Like, we actually look forward to Jason Statham's one movie a year.
Yeah.
And this was just terrible, man. Like,
I'm ashamed to say that this is the only second time that we've walked out the cinema. The first one was the Ouija movie.
Yeah, the first Ouija movie was dreadful.
Yeah, and the second one was this. And we've been going to the cinema for what now, 13 years together?
Yeah, we've been together for 13 years and we go to the cinema weekly.
Yeah.
So I think that's not bad going. 2 movies we've walked out of.
Yeah, but Jason Statham, man, you need to do better, mate.
I was so disappointed. Like, we loved The Beekeeper so much because it was so, it was good shite. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It didn't take itself too seriously. Whereas this one weirdly did. It got really convoluted. By the middle, they're getting involved. I understand the point of the film is that she gets kidnapped by human traffickers, but then we start going down weird mad drug deal bits and stuff. No, and the two of us, I can always sense when you're not enjoying a film. If you're sitting next to me, I can literally feel you tense up, and I'm like,
terrible.
oh. And every time we leave a film, I know whether you're going to hate it or not. Because normally we will just stick it out, do you know what I mean? And then just bitch about it when we go home. Scream
Yeah.
7, I'm looking at you. No, Scream 6?
Scream 6.
Scream 6, I'm looking at you. We were fucking raging when we left the cinema. But we normally stick it out. But we left. Honestly, we must have been about an hour in. And we left. And we were just like, what the fuck?
I don't even think we were an hour because
Really?
we got to the bit with the club scene.
Yeah, that's it.
And we just thought, fuck this. Like, this isn't worth it.
So if anybody's actually finished Working Man and wants to try and argue with us that it's good, wire in, because I've only seen half of it.
Yeah.
But that was enough. Do you know what I mean? It didn't have any of the like the fun shtick of like a Jason Statham movie. It didn't have any of like it was too fucking serious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Shout out David Harbour for having a wee cameo in it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they tried to, like, with the beekeeper, I think you knew, right, I can't play it. I can't play it straight.
Yeah.
But in this, he was like, I'm going to try and do it straight again. Is it just don't?
I know. Even like the beekeeper had like, I mean, obviously the crazy South African guy, some people loved him, some people hated him. But like, even in the beekeeper, see the fact that everyone was walking about in fucking neon yellow suits and all that. We were like, right, cool, we're here for a good time, not a long time.
But, like, we know what's happening here.
Whereas they tried to keep some of the neon elements, but play it really fucking serious. And I was like, guys, that's not why people show up for Jason Statham once a year. Like, we are here to see Jason Statham batter people for a good cause. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, aye.
Honestly, we were so gutted. We were so looking forward to it as well, weren't we?
Oh, fuck, 100%.
A 10 out of 10 that we did see at the cinema recently, though, I'm going to shout out Sinners, man. It took me about 3 days to realise whether I liked it or not, though. Like, I thought Sinners was going to be my 0 out of 10. Like, we watched it, and I don't really want to spoil it, but it's great. Go see it.
Yeah.
If you watch Sinners, you're going to come out of Sinners being like, I've already seen that film. And that's okay. Do you know what I mean? Because we left the cinema being like, we've already seen that movie. I don't know if I like that movie. And then after about 3 days of like sitting with it and like listening to the soundtrack and like thinking about it and stuff, I was like, no, I think it was good. So I'm up for going to see it again because I want to confirm that I really enjoyed it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I was the same as you. That once you realise, as you said, we've seen this movie before, won't tell you what one it is.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think a lot of people know already.
Yeah, by now, yeah.
But once you take that out of it and realise what the movie's actually about and don't just take it for the plot, or is it, oh, that's really smart, that's class.
There's so many bits in it that are so smart. Do you know what I mean? Like, see when you're sitting in the cinema watching it, you're like, aye, right, cool, no bother. And then obviously we came back and we were looking up all this stuff about it and like watching all these kind of review things about it. And we were like, no, that's really good, man. That's really fucking clever. Like,
yeah, if you can just get your head around like the plot of it, and there is issues in it, like that's fair. Every movie has it, but if you get by that, is it, no, this is solid. Yeah,
like I'm actually looking forward to watching it again. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like it took me a couple of days to sit with it and be like, was that movie good? Did I enjoy myself? No, I did. I really did. So I'm going to watch it again to confirm that I definitely liked it. But that was so close to being a 0 out of 10 if I hadn't sat with it for a couple of days.
Yeah.
So Jason Statham takes this week's 0 out of 10.
Well done, Jason.
Yeah, arsehole. Anyway, guys, that is the end of our episode. As always, follow us over on Instagram, Blue Sky, all the good stuff. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time. Bye.
Bye.